Okay, so in this video, we're going to go over kind of the four kinds of questions that are going to be asked on your practice and on the quiz for this unit, which will take place this Thursday, the 19th. So before we do the Google form, let's watch this video, and I will go over each kind of question and give you some tips. So first thing we got to get out of the way is in here, the black shape is the original, or what we call the pre-image, and the blue shape is the image, or the result of a transformation. You can also see this without color using the prime notation. So that little tick mark, which I'll emphasize in red, that mark there, we call that prime. And that's how I know that was the image. That's the thing that happened after some sort of transformation. And each question is going to ask you, based on what you see, tell me, was it a reflection across y equals 2, x equals 1, and so on. All right, so when you're dealing with a reflection type of question, the thing that I can tell you to do is you want to draw in the mirror. All right, and the mirror is always going to go through the middle of the two shapes. And I can see that the middle is right here. All right, you can see that like S is on the line, and you can see this symmetry. Like, I don't know. You see how there's like half of the blue above and half of the blue below, and then it's repeated for the black? You just kind of want to draw in what you think is the mirror, and then you can check by counting boxes. If that really is my mirror, then Q is 1, 2, 3 boxes to the mirror. Its image will be 1, 2, 3 boxes away from the mirror. And same thing with R. They'll be the same distance. So if R prime is 2 away, its image, or the original, will be 2 away. And that's how you can verify that that's the mirror. So half of the problem is drawing in the mirror, and then the second half is figuring out, okay, well, what is the name of that mirror? Sometimes it'll be easy, like the x or the y-axis. This one's a little bit harder. This one, you want to say to yourself, well, that red line crosses, it crosses the y-axis. So it's going to be y equals, all right? It's not going to be an x equals axis. And then where is it crossing the y-axis? Okay, well, it's crossing it not at 0, not at 1. Oh, it's crossing the y-axis at 2. This is the line y equals 2, and that's the line we are flipping over. So that is how you'll be identifying reflections. You can pause the video and rewatch if you need. We'll be moving on to translations. Now, for translations, you want to use your, for the reflection, you want to use your paint tool. And for translations, you're going to draw in like the slope. And you want to count the slope from the original point, that's the black shape, without prime notation, to the image, the blue shape, with prime notation. And you're just going to pick one point. I'm going to pick T. And I'm going to say, well, how do I get from T to T prime? It is up 1 and to the left 1. And you write that down on your paper. And the thing that I have to stress is you have to go from the original. You can't pick it from the image, because maybe that would be the trap. It's from the original, the black shape, without prime notation, to the image, the blue shape with the prime notation. So I'm looking for an answer that has up 1 and left 1. So translation, boom, 1 unit left, 4 units up. No, that's wrong. Translation, 1 unit left, 2 units up. No, that's wrong. Translation, 1 unit left, 1 unit up. That is correct. So that one's just C. So for translations, pick the original, count boxes up, down, left, right, and then just write them down from the original to the image. Okay. The last kind of basic one we're going to do is a rotation. So rotation, once again, it's super important. You have to go from the original because direction's going to matter. Is it going to be counterclockwise or clockwise? So I know that this is the original. It helps to write that, all right? This is where I'm starting. So I like to draw an arrow because that tells me I am moving counterclockwise. All right, this is going counterclockwise. So this looks like the answer. And the other way I know it's not 180 is how the shape moves. All right, if you see how this shape is in this quadrant, if it just moves up or to the next quadrant, all right, that that one quadrant shift is 90 degrees. So because it shifted from quadrant 4 to quadrant 1, that's a shift of 90 degrees, okay? If my image was here, all right, that's a shift of 2 quadrants. That's one quadrant and a second quadrant. That's 90 plus 90, all right? If it lands 2 quadrants away, like this wasn't here, that would be 180 degrees. And that's kind of how you can see that. That's how you do rotations. And then the last kind of question is going to be what we call sequences. Sequences are exactly what they mean. It's more than one. More than one transformation. Okay? So it's a combination. It's going to be a reflection, a rotation, translation. And usually it's just 2 of these. Just 2. And you got to describe it. For you, it will be multiple choice, but here I'm going to have to actually get very specific. So the first one you want to check for is reflection, because reflection is real easy to check for. And this is like the most important thing I'll say in this video, is my pro tip. Reflections will reverse the flow of the letters. Flow means like direction. So I can tell that the top is the original, and I can tell that the bottom is the image. And I can tell that because of this double prime notation. And when you see the double prime, that means 2 transformations happened. All right? And what I'm talking about with reflections, what I mean by flow is the first letter you see is A, right? And then the next letter is B. And then the next is C, and then the next is D, and then it would kind of go back. This flow of the letters, right, if you look at a clock, 12, 1, 2, that is counterclockwise. This is a counterclockwise orientation is what we call it, or flow. When we go to the image, if we check that flow, same way, we started at A, and then the next letter was B, then C, then D. I don't think I was prepared to do this one. Darn. Because I look at this and I go, orientation stayed the same. A to B, did I mess that up? Is orientation the same? Yeah, orientation is the same. That is, that's counterclockwise. Okay. That is a counterclockwise orientation. So this was not a reflection. I mean, you could do it in 3, but this is not a reflection. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, not a reflection because orientation is the same. So I'm going to do like an audible here. I'm going to say, well, it's not a reflection. All right. So if I got to do it in 2, it's going to be a rotation and a translation. All right. So now I'm going to come back here. This would be easier for you because you would have multiple choice and you would just kind of pick the best one. For me, I'm unfortunately going to have to do this by hand, and that's going to make it a little bit longer. So I'm going to, rotate this. My first transformation will be a rotation of 180. Direction doesn't matter with 180. About the origin. Okay, and I'm actually just going to show you how to do this now. So to do rotations, right, it's down 2 over 3. So you repeat that. So down 2 over 3. All right, A prime would land there. And then B prime would kind of land here. I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to repeat for D. So that's down 2, 4, 5, and over 2. Down 2, 4, 5, and over 2. That means D prime will land here. And I know I'm speeding through this, but I'll do the last one for you. So the idea with 180 is that a line is 180, and you're just splitting that line up into 2 equal pieces, right? Because a 180 rotation should make that line. So I'm just making a line, and I'm saying, well, to make that line, I needed to go down 2, 4, 5, and over 2. And I'm just going to recreate that from the origin. It's down 2, 4, 5, and over 2. That's how I know right here will be C prime. Okay? And when I connect it, oh, did I delete the, yeah, it's here and here. Yeah. And now when I connect it, I get this shape. And now you can kind of see like B matches with B double prime and C prime matches with C double prime. A reflection wouldn't do that. If this was a reflection over the x-axis, it would put A prime there. And that's the issue. All right, that's why this can't be a reflection. That's why that pro tip is so important. All right, so it's a rotation of 180 about the origin, and now I have my like rotation. That's that first prime. And then the second thing that happens, you would go rotation 180 about the origin, then translate, no, I'll delete this now. Translate, let's see, down 2 units, and that's it. Down 2 units. Boom. And that's my sequence. All right, when you do that, when you rotate the shape 180 degrees, you get the blue shape, the single prime, and then to get to double prime, you take that first transformation and you do another one to it called the sequence. You go translate it down 2 units. We will have today as a practice, the 17th, and we will have Wednesday, the 18th as a practice, and then Thursday will be our quiz. I'll see you in the Zoom if you have any questions. Thank you.